Watch this turn. Indicator left, down the slope. What a shot. What a shot. Is it? Oh, would you believe that? Rory McIlroy. What a round of golf. It's one outside the Augusta course record. Than I anticipated. Oh man, what a shot! I'd say that's pretty good. Whoa!
Good evening, golf fans. Welcome back to the Putting for Dough show. We are here again, one day late, to talk all things PGA DFS. I almost lost my way before coming on them because Jack just asked me a question before the show started, which I ain't going to answer because I don't want to start. So, yeah. Let's focus on the positive stuff. We're back. We're a 3-ball once again. Jack, Mark, good week, good weekend, good day, good last hour, good life, all that stuff.
Well, I've had some terrible sound issues before we started, so hopefully you can hear me now.
What? Yeah, we can, Mark. Thanks for that. I say we can, and then you pixelate and move around like bloody Peter Crouch doing the robot.
It's so weird. Like this amazing internet speed. For some reason, StreamYard's not working for me properly. But there you go. We carry on. Quickly, I got a 3rd and a quarter jukebox last week and a 10th, so I did pretty well using players we talked about on the show.
Nice. There we go. Mark identifying as a dialect this evening. Jack, how's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good. Good week last week. Despite only having a 4 for 6 in cash, it's still cashed. And yeah, that's why double up's the king. I had Scotty Scheffler who does everything well except putt. He can't putt at the minute. I read a stat today. Even if it lost just 2 strokes putting last week, he would have won that event by about 5 strokes. It's absolutely insane what he is doing. It's Tiger-esque really, apart from the putt, because Tiger was obviously a very good putter back in the day, but the performance from tee to the green is it's unreal, really. It's absolutely unreal. But yeah, I had him in my cash core and he come through for me in the end. So yeah, we done well on the old double ups. Bit disappointed in the bets. I had Hovland, and he just kind of blew up really on that last day, which was a bit disappointing. He was in contention going into that last day, and he blew up again. I also had bet Scheffler as well, so I wish he had just lost the 2 strokes putting. But yeah, it didn't come off. But yeah, good week in DFS last week, so I'm looking forward to this week. Another good event.
Yeah, it is insane. Like, you look back to BMW last year, and he's had one single result that was outside of a top 12 finish. And he's only had 3 of those results that are outside of a top 10. Everything else has been within the top 10 or the top 5, which is staggering, really. It's unbelievable form. And like you said, Jack, if he just pick up a little bit of form with the flat stick, he would probably be winning every single event that he's entering at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's crazy with what he's doing. Just find the putter for once, please. Find the putter. That's it. Like, it's game over for the rest of the field. Not too sure it'd be game over for this field this week though, because this is a very, very strong field, being an elevated event. Yeah, I am really looking forward to this event this week.
Yeah, it's a good one. He needs to just start chipping on the greens. But yeah, using the old wedge putter. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean, good week for me. Obviously took down the horse league, which was nice. A couple of wins I've strung together there in recent weeks, and almost took down the listener league as well. If it weren't for Ben Martin just basically packing his bags on the last day and being done with it, I'd have been right in it. But unfortunately, just missed out to Kurt, who was a recent guest on the show. So at least I've lost out to someone of that kind of reputable stature. So a lot of positives to take from it, and that was with a 5 out of 6 over the line as well. Tommy Fleetwood, unfortunately, missing the cut. Mark, you're back. What's going on?
I'll just try something technical.
Something turn it off, turn it back on again, unplug it, blow on the
something
car,
like that.
blowing.
I don't want to give away my secrets.
Punch it. That's what I'd normally do. Punch it. Just a quick one, Dick. Actually, I didn't mention. I also cashed on FanDuel last week. I actually played FanDuel on Paddy Power. I always forget to play it because it's on Paddy Power, and it's an absolute ball ache to. It's not. I say it's a ball ache to access. It's not really. It's a bit buggy and glitchy at times. But I put one line up in a single entry contest on there. Doubled my money. Wasn't a lot, but thanks to only having a 5 or 6, thanks to me playing Jordan Spieth for some really stupid reason. I played Jordan Spieth on that, unfortunately. But I tell you what, the pricing on that compared to DraftKings is so friendly. Like, you can jam in quite a few studs. It's completely different to DraftKings. So yeah, if you've not tried that, it might be worth giving it a go, because you can jam in a lot of the top heavy studs. So yeah, I'll probably go back there this week and have another little go at that.
Yeah, I always forget about that, really. FanDuel on Paddy Power. So I always just think we can't access FanDuel here, but then that's exactly what Paddy Power is. Much like, like you go on Bet365 and their fancy is Fan Team. And like you said, it's not like it's not a ball ache as such to access it, because it is just another site. But I think because we play so many different sports and contests on DraftKings, it's kind of just the default for us.
Yeah.
It's certainly the default over here for daily fantasy sports as well. But it's there, and I guess if you're listening to this show, a lot of what we talk about will definitely translate over to that, because it's the same golfers at the end of the day. You might even find that the competition over there might be a little bit softer than DraftKings. I think it's probably fair to say. Probably not massively. There will be sharks that will play FanDuel as well, but I would say probably softer competition over there than what you'll come across on DraftKings. DraftKings is the creme, innit? Creme de la creme.
Yeah.
Well, it's where we hang out, so there you go.
Where the sharks hang out, yeah. Where the boys hang out. Unless you've anything to add, fellas, I mean, that's pretty much it, I guess, for last week. Not much more to say. Congratulations, Grillo, on the win. Unlucky winner as well. Jack, did you play him? I know you're a big...
No, I didn't. The 1 week I didn't play him, he goes and wins, which is just typical. So yeah, no, I didn't play him. I was quite happy to see him win, though, despite his best efforts to blow it on the 18th hole. I don't know if you saw that, Nick, that ball rolling down the stream. Yeah,
rolled and rolled, and it just kept going.
Yeah, it was nuts. I'm glad he got over the line, though, because I think he deserves it. He's been playing some really good golf this year. A lot of people have laughed every time I pick him in a core or something. Oh, he's a bit volatile with the putting and things like that. But he's been getting it done everywhere else. So that putting will eventually come. It's the same with Scheffler. That putting will eventually come, and when it does, it's gonna, he's gonna be unbeatable. Good feedback as well last week. I didn't mention it on the sexy sixers that we put in the newsletter now. 4 out of the 5 made the cut, including Carson Young at $6,300 last week. He was just an absolute stud. Along with Ches Reavie, actually, who's back in this sexy sixers again this week. But he's even cheaper this week. He was a stud last week, and he's back in again this week. So yeah, good feedback on that last week, and we'll keep that going forward now with the newsletter.
Nice. Well, I guess unless there is anything that anyone wants to promote, the newsletter.
Well, the newsletter's already out, as it's a Wednesday.
So if you've not already tucked into it, then it is there ready for you to tuck into. If you've not tucked into it, I'm sure we'll be talking about some of those golfers that you've got in your core, Jack, and obviously your cup makers there as well, Mark.
I'm just reading from it. That's all. I'm just going to read out the newsletter.
Fair enough. Then, no, if anyone asks, this show is absolutely not scripted. This one might be a little bit scripted. So if it sounds very familiar when you listen back to it either tonight or tomorrow morning, and then you read the newsletter, we it is an independent recording. We haven't just literally looked at that newsletter and read it word for word. But a lot of the golfers will be similar. I guess we better move on to this week then. So the Memorial, Jack, I'm sure you've got a dazzling course preview for us. So take it away.
I don't know about dazzling, but yeah, I do have a course preview for you. So we are heading to Murray.
Then you're going to disappoint. I've set it up as dazzling. You're always dazzling.
So we're headed to Murrayfield Village in Dublin, Ohio. It's a Jack Nicklaus designed golf course in 1974. There was a big renovation done on it in 2020. If you remember the 2020 tournament, they were literally ripping the course up behind the leaders as they were coming down the stretch. So good times. I'll get into a little bit more about the redesign shortly. It's a par 72 at 7,543 yards long. Big boy course, this one. There's a water that comes into play on 11 holes. It's mainly a creek, bit like Augusta National. Think of that. You're going to hear that a lot about this golf course, Augusta National. Very good comp course for it. The fairways are bent grass. They're fairly wide, which is typical of Jack Nicklaus designed. Again, typical of Augusta National. So another comp there. The rough is Kentucky bluegrass mixed with fescue and ryegrass as well. There's a big mix of stuff here that is fairly thick as well. There's a lot of rain in the area apparently, so it's going to be growing up a little bit this week. The rough, the greens are bent grass and they are 5,000 square feet. So fairly small again, getting a little bit bigger than what we have seen in the last couple of events, but still on the small size. Again, the comp courses are Augusta National, and I suppose you could use Torrey Pines South as a comp course for this as well. I'm projecting the winning score will be about 13 under, and then the cut should be about even par here. Bit more detail on the course itself. None of the par fours here played under par in 2022, so there's 10 of them on this golf course. The par fours, they are very hard par fours on this track. There's 4 par fives and 4 par threes. The redesign in 2020, as I mentioned, the course was lengthened by 150 yards, mainly the par fives, and that was to combat Bryson DeChambeau at the time because he tore the course apart before the redesign. So that was to combat Bryson's scientific golf swing that he likes to do. All the greens were reconstructed in that redesign. Sub-air systems were put in place so they can dry them out if they want to. We're not going to get any rain this week, but if the option is there, they want to bake them out a bit more. And they were all changed to bent grass in 2020. All the bunkers were moved up on the fairways. That's just basically for strategic purposes to stop the guys just absolutely bombing it past them. They got think now with their shot off the tee. The 4 par 5s rank as the 4th on the PGA Tour. So, getting it done there is going to be hard this week. It's also the 6th longest golf course on the PGA Tour. And there's lots of contours on the greens, much like Augusta National. Again, as I mentioned, I'm going to keep coming back to Augusta National with this golf course. Jack designed it on Augusta. The closing stretch is absolutely brutal. Hole 16 is a par 3 that's over water and it's 200 yards. Hole 17 is a monster of a par 4, 485 yards with a tight corridor off the tee. And hole 18, again, is another par 4. It's a 480-yard dogleg with multiple hazards to maneuver around. This is a tough track this week. Again, this is 3 on the trot now. So 3 tough tracks on the trot. It doesn't get any easier for the PGA Tour players this week. I'm very much looking forward to it.
I'm not going to get much easier going forward either as we build up to the US Open. Mark, your key course stats this week?
Strokes gained are all weighted again. So off the tee, approach around the green, some putting on bent grass. I've gone for some long and hard courses again. Good drive percentages, greens gained, and course history here and fantasy points gained. That's the lot.
Yeah, I've gone with weighted as well this week. I've not gone with weighted all season, and I thought, you know what, just try. It's a strong field. I think with these strong fields, I'm going to just start doing weighted and see how we get on. Jack, your model this week, what does it consist of?
Similar to Mark, strokes gained off the tee on long golf courses, good drive percentage, strokes gained on approach. Then I got the proximity buckets of 175 to 200 and 200. Strokes gained around the green, sand saves, very important around here, sand saves. Strokes gained putting on bent grass, par 5 scoring, and then I've got the comp courses of Murrayfield, which is this one, and Augusta National. And there's my dog.
There we go. Who knew we were having a guest on the show tonight? But we got Jack's dog.
Make more sense than me, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Enter the dog into the listener league this week. See how they get on. Yeah, for me, weighted strokes gained on approach is my heaviest weighting. Around the green, off the tee. Off the tee, I've actually weighted a little bit lower than around the green, but they're very, very similar. Not much between them. Good drive percentage, fairways gained. I've thrown in a little bit of greens in regulation percentage as well. I did read a quote from, I don't know if it was Bubba Watson or someone else who has played this course previously and said you want to be on the green and you want to be in the right place on the green as well. Otherwise, you could spend the week basically putting uphill if that's the case. Similar proximity buckets to you, Jack, though I have sprinkled in the 150 to 175 range. Bent grass, usual puts inside 10 to 15 feet as well. I've only done a comp course with this one. I haven't thrown any of the others in because I think course history will be quite important this week. So yeah, that's me. I think we're all fairly similar across the board. It seems slight subtle differences, but let's see who we are favouring then. There's some of the players that have popped up in my model this week that I am. There's some that are higher than others, but I'm favouring the ones that are lower. So I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I guess we'll discuss as we go through. Let's look at the top of the shop first of all. Scotty Scheffler, 11,300. Tops the price range. John Rahm, 11,000. Rory at 10,600. Patrick Cantlay, who has done really well on this course in the past, at 10,500, and Xander Schauffele at 10,200. Jack, I will start off with you this week. Who is your pick from the top of the range here?
Very easy. I'm playing Scotty in cash, and I'm playing John Rahm in GPPs. Very easy. John Rahm is in my core in the newsletter. If you've not read it yet, his course history is outstanding. He should have been back-to-back winner. I don't know if people remember that 2021 tournament where he had a 6-stroke lead after 54 holes, after 3 rounds basically. But he was forced to withdraw because he found out he had COVID. So he would have won. I'm pretty sure he would have won in 2021 as well, to go along with a win in 2020. He finished tied 10th here last year. Clearly a place he loves. Won the Masters earlier in the year. I'm using that as a comp course. Number 1 in my model this week. Gaining strokes across the board. I know he had a bit of a disappointing PGA Championship where he finished tied 50th, but if you look at it a bit closer, it was round 1 where he'd done the damage. The rest of the week he was pretty decent. He gained strokes on the approach for the rest of the week there. So yeah, I'm backing on Rahm in GPPs, and Scotty. Well, they're 1-2 in my model. So Rahm's 1, Scotty's number 2, and I'll be playing Scotty in cash. Because if he finds that putter, you're going to need him in cash.
Yeah, for points. You can make a case for both, which you've just done exactly that. And to be fair, you can't, I think the ownership's going to be quite split between these two this week. I think it'll come down to just a preference thing. I think it's going to be hard to build a lineup with both, in though we'll try that a little bit later to see how we get on. But
I actually think the ownership will get condensed again between 3 of them up in this 10k range, and then I think Rory's going to be the lowest owned. But that's up to you if you want to play Rory. I just won't. I know he finished 7th at the PGA Championship, but I did a bit of a deeper dive into it earlier. It wasn't very pretty what he was doing. So I'm quite happy to fade Rory there. But yeah, I'll let Mark talk before I talk any more about it this range.
Yeah.
There's not much to add, really, is there?
There's not. I mean, I think like Cantlay, I think you're right, Jack. I think like condensing the ownership a little bit. I think he'll be the other one that's highly owned. Obviously, his course history here as well. Cantlay is actually second in my model. Scheffler comes out third, but I think Scheffler is actually the one that I'm leaning towards. Where are you leaning, Mark?
I'm happy with everybody up here. I mean, I find Rory could be under 10% owned, which just seems mental, doesn't it? You can make a case for the other 4 easily. Statistically, Rory's not that bad. It's just we just all know he's out of sorts. So it comes down to can he just suddenly turn it on, which we know he can. I'm not saying he will this week. But there you go. I'm going to play everybody apart from Rory probably in GPPs here.
Yeah. It's tight at the top this week. I think it just falls on your preference and how you're building your lineups. Let's have a look at the range below it then. And there isn't many in there, but the 9k range starts off with Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, Jason Day, Tyrrell Hatton, Justin Thomas, Sung Jae Im, and Matt Fitzpatrick rounds us off. I'll stay with you, Mark. Anyone that you like in this range, or is it a range that you're fading this week?
It's not a range I'm fading, mainly because I'm going to be fading the 7.5 to 8.5 range, but we'll come on to that later. There's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to play Tyrrell Hatton again. Statistically, just looks fantastic. He's just been so consistent this year. I still think he's going to be under-owned at like 16% as well. I really do. He's had 3 top 5s in his last 8. That just shows he can actually win one of these, and I think he will at some point. So yeah, definitely my favourite. Funny enough, this week I don't remember this happening where my model has so mirrored the pricing in DraftKings. I don't know if your guys are the same, but I think out of the top 10 players, top 10 pricing, 9 of those are in my top 10 in my model, which just never happens.
Mine's the same.
Yeah, so it means it kind of means that you're struggling to find sort of value plays or surprise plays at the top there, for want of a better phrase, because a lot of people will just go by the pricing and stuff, and that'll be mirror our models. So yeah, but I definitely like Tyrrell Hatton's my favourite, but I can make a case for a lot of these players, as I say. Morikawa and Hovland actually rank higher in my model, my weekly model. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Morikawa ranks higher for me. Sung Jae ranks just above Tyrrell, but I think Hatton's the pick for me as well in this range. I agree with you, Mark. He's not lost a stroke anywhere in his game the last 3 tournaments he's played in. And then prior to that, he played in the Heritage. He only lost strokes on approach, which he's historically a pretty good approach player. I think it is the driving accuracy is good for Tyrrell, and his 200 plus yard or that kind of proximity bucket of 200 to 225, he ranks really well there, and pretty good putter as well. So there's a lot to like in his game. Jack, the 9K range. Any advance on Tyrrell Hatton? I know that you're a fan.
Yeah, no, to be honest, Tyrrell's probably my favourite in the range. I'm completely fading this range anyway, just because of the way I'm building this week. I can't really get to any of these guys. If I was to, I would probably go back to Morikawa again. I know I played him last week. He wasn't great, but he wasn't disappointing. He still made the cut. He fought to make the cut. I kind of like the way he's fighting and grinding at the minute, just to get through. I think he's going to find something soon, and why not here? He was second here in 2021. He ranks. He's 5th in my model, and then Victor's 6th. So they're like 1 and 2 there. They're quite close together. But the ownership, you're getting a bit of an ownership discount on Morikawa. So more of a GPP play for me. I do think Morikawa is going to find something with his game soon. I just, as someone that watches a lot of golf, I like the way that he's grinding, and this seems like a track that would suit him well. Again, like Scheffler, losing a lot of strokes with the putter. So, we know he's a very good iron player. Morikawa is always dialed in with his irons, so he's gaining strokes there, which I'd like to see. But he'd be the one I go to in GPPs. But Tyrrell's my favourite. I can't get to Jason Day at that price. I think that's a ridiculous price for Jason Day. But yeah.
Yeah, the ownership seems to agree with you at the moment, because he's one of the lower owned in this range, which I think other people seem to be sharing that same opinion as well. I am going to stay with you, Jack, and we'll have a look at this 8K range. So Jordan Spieth at 8-9. I'd be absolutely stunned if that's who you're playing from this range, because I know you don't like your Spieth, especially how errant he is off the tee. That will not suit him here this week. Cameron Young, Hideki Matsuyama, Sam Burns, Ricky Fowler, Saif Vigala, Corey Connors, Wyndham Clark, Shane Lowry, and Adam Scott and Siwoo Kim, should I say, both at 8K, those two. If you're fading the 9Ks, I'm assuming you're going to dip in here, Jack, somewhere, but tell me where.
Well, if you've read the newsletter, my other core plays in there, and it's Ricky Fowler. I know he's going to be highly owned. I don't really care. I like the bounce back last week at Colonial from what we saw. He had the miscut, obviously, at the PGA Championship, but then he got tied 6th last week at Colonial, which was good to see. He had made 9 straight cuts before that miscut at the PGA Championship. Again, great to see that. And he's actually inside the top 15 on 4 of the previous events before the PGA Championship as well. Again, so I think he's near Ricky. Like we've said it about a couple of golfers this year. Rose for one, Jason Day obviously got his win eventually. Why not Fowler here? I know he's going to get the ownership. I know he's coming in highly owned. This is he's only ever missed a cut here once since 2010 when he made his debut. He was a runner-up on his debut in 2010 and a runner-up in 2017. So it's clearly a place he likes. He was 11th here in 2021. He hasn't been like none of these years around here, 2021, 2022. He was out of form massively in those years, and he's still come 11th here. So it's clearly a golf course that he likes. He's in really good form at the minute. As I say, I really do like the bounce back that we saw last week. He's 10th in my model this week as well. So yeah, I'm going to play Fowler, and I don't really care about the ownership. I just get different elsewhere. I'm probably going to play Cameron Young in GPPs as well. I've got a problem. I think people should stay away from my problems, but I did a deeper dive into Cameron Young earlier. He played this golf course last year, and a lot of people will look at the thing and see, that he finished like dead last after making the cut. Do you know he was tied 5th going into the last round here last year? And then he basically finished dead last. He basically had a blow-up round, but then I looked into that a bit deeper. So he shot in the 80s, but there was 7 golfers that shot in the 80s on the Sunday. So there must have been some sort of weather. I can't really remember too much about the event last year, but there must have been some sort of weather edge on that day where the course just played absolutely like brutally hard. He's a bomber off the tee, which should suit him around here. He's pretty good on the approach. Again, losing some strokes with the putting. I really like him. Like he's got Ricky's old caddy on the bag. We know that. Ricky likes it. I have a problem. I know I have a problem, but I think I'm going to play him in GPPs this week. Jordan Spieth's going to draw the ownership off of Ricky Fowler, I believe, in this range anyway, because people just see the 8-9 and go to him.
Yeah, the course history's there, I guess, as well for Spieth, but
and good luck to them
at the moment. Yeah, good luck. Mark, 8Ks. You've said that you've taken at least half of this range.
Yeah, there's so much ownership condensing around the 8 between sort of Adam Scott and Siwoo and Ricky Fowler. If you want to start game theorying your lineups, just fade them all, and you should be different because it's ridiculously condensed. But I mean, forgetting that side of it, Shane Lowry actually ranks pretty high in my model, number 12. His putting is letting him down, basically.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. But other than that, he looks pretty good. It's been a while since
basically Scheffler light. He is. But just look at the stats. The putt is literally the same amount of strokes with the putting being lost.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've talked about Shane Lowry on here, I think. He's just coming off a 12th as well, 12th place after missing a cut. So he's potentially it. But otherwise, I'm generally staying away from it. Ricky Fowler was the next one in my next highest in my model, and then Hideki.
Yeah,
but something's making me uneasy about Hideki, and I'm not sure what it is. So there you go. I don't know what it is with Hideki. I always feel a bit nervous playing him. I also feel I need reassurance from somebody.
I like Hideki this week as well. So
there you go. There's my reassurance.
But I also like Cameron Young, so I have issues. So
I can see the Cameron Young thing, though. I can see why you like him. It's just his accuracy is really low.
Yeah.
Which is anything that's worrying me. And his greens and regulation.
And I also, always love Fagala, just because he's a birdie making machine. So
showdown play for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, Hideki was. I talked myself off Hideki. He was the first name in this range that I was like, I gravitated towards him straight away. But then when I looked at him, I was like, no. I don't really like this range at all. I like the golfers that are in there, and I think Like I like the Ricky Fowler shout. Like Corey Connors, Corey Connors ranks quite highly in my model this week. Good off the tee. The irons have been hot for a while. Good form as well at the moment. Granted, a miscut at the Masters, which isn't great given that it's a bit of a comp course. But in terms of his iron play, he's off the tee stuff, his greens in regulation. It's a well-rounded game that you're getting from him at the moment. So he was ranking quite high in my model as well. But every time I feel like I play Corey, when he's in form like this, he goes and misses the cut. And I just don't know if I want to pay that for him. With that uncertainty, I feel like there's an asterisk next to everyone in this range on this course this week. So I don't know if the 8Ks is just a full fade for me.
I like Adam Scott as well. That's a cash play. He has not missed a cut since last year's PGA Championship.
Yeah, good cut maker. Good cut maker, definitely.
It's a cash play. It's definitely a cash play for me.
Let's have a look at the sevens then. As always, I am not going to list them all because I never do, and because there's always a boatload.
I think you should list them all.
I mean, you know what? If I was getting paid to list them all, I absolutely would. But unfortunately, I'm not getting paid for it. So we're not listing them. I'll be here all night with the amount of people that are in this 7K range, as is always the case. So, Mark, I'll come back to you because I know that Jack loves hoovering up this range with normally 7 or 8 golfers. So give me just one or two because I know that Jack will cover the rest of them.
There's no need for you to name them all because Jack will. What I find really frustrating is Gary Woodland's short game is so bad. And he's so good at every other part of his game statistically. So that frustrates me because I want to play him, but I really can't. My favourite play actually is right down the bottom of here, Stephen Jaeger.
Oh, he's on the Jaeger bombs now with me.
I'm on the Jaeger bombs. On the Jaeger bombs. He's like a Shane Lowry light. It's a similar stat profile, but So what's that make him? Scheffler light squared or something? Anyway, terrible putting, pretty decent for his price everywhere else, and he's fourth in greens and regulation, which I think is for this price range fantastic. I'm not that enamored with this range either. Although obviously now Jack's going to name 10 of them, and I'm going to add them to my pool.
Right.
The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Right. So the third of my cut makers, if you've not read the newsletter, is Mr. Christian Seabez. Someone that we used to play a lot last year. He ranks 20th in my model this week. He ranks 4th in this field for strokes gained putting on bent grass. He's been slowly finding his form this year. There's been a couple of miscuts in there. The one was on the DP World Tour recently, and I believe he missed a cut of the PGA Championship. He did. But again, another one who bounced back last week, got tied 21st at Colonial, which see very good approach game. Losing a few strokes off the tee, but it doesn't go absolutely nuts. These are quite wide fairways here, so I'm hoping he'll be all right. Has played this golf course twice before, finished 37th and 22nd. So he's got a bit of course history here, a place that he can get on well with, and like I say, I think he's just finding his way again after a bit of a disappointing end to the back end of last year and a disappointing start to the year, but he's slowly finding his way. And that golfer, that steady cut maker guy that we were using quite a lot at the start of last year, I think we're slowly getting that guy back this week. Happy to jump on the Seabez train. Tom Kim, this guy's just going to draw ownership. This price is stupid at 7,900, but here we are. I know he's not a bomber off the tee, Tom Kim, but he's very good, very dialed in with his irons, very good at them long proximity approaches from 175 to 200 and 200 yards that we've mentioned before. Again, another one that's he missed a cut at the PGA Championship. I'm not really worried about that as a long golf course, doesn't suit his game. Before that, 3 straight cuts made, including the 7th at the Zurich. So yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Tom Kim again. He's slowly sort of finding his game again after a disappointing year as so far. Denny McCarthy, I like Denny McCarthy. I know he missed a cut last week, but before that he was 29th at the PGA Championship and 8th at the where is that? I don't even know what event that is. But yeah, he was 8th before that. I don't say that's a really bad podcast. So he was 5th here last year, which is great to see. So he's another one I like. I think you can use in this range. I like Matt Kuchar. Always like Matt Kuchar. Steady Eddie. Nothing pretty, but I think you'll get a cut made out of Matt Kuchar. Probably a cash play for me, Matt Kuchar, this week. Ben Yan, the guy just didn't disappoint last week, 21st. I know he can get a bit wild off the tee at times, but good approach play, losing a few strokes putting. Bomber off the tee though. Has played this golf course before a few times. Missed the cut the last 2 times he was here, but before that he was 17th and 2nd. Again, I was hearing a lot of comp courses today, people comparing this place to Wentworth. Ben Yan's won at Wentworth. So yeah, he's got the runner-up finish here as well. So it's clearly a place he enjoys to play. Chris Kirk, I like, won at the Honda earlier in the year, which is a Jack Nicklaus design golf course. So clearly places he loves. Very good on the approach play. It will come down here a bit. I'll just name these guys, won't go into detail. Patrick Rogers, Ryan Fox, guys that I'm going to be jumping on. Nikolai Højgaard, I just like Højgaard, and Stephen Jaeger bombs. I love Jaeger bombs as well. So they're the guys I like in the range this week.
The Wells Fargo was the 8th, Jack.
That's the one, sorry.
Wells Fargo.
Thank you.
Yeah, Højgaard I really like. Bomber, greens in regulation percentage is astronomically high. Not missed a cut either since he's been playing PGA Tour golf this year, which is good. He's had some okay finishes along the way. You're not expecting him to go on and win this, but if he makes the cut at the price, then that's enough. That's plenty. Yeah, some of the names you met, Ben Yan, I had my eye on as well. The top of the range, Keegan Bradley, maybe. I don't really like the top of the range. I think if I'm playing anyone, I'm probably coming down, and it's probably going to be Seabez, Højgaard, Ben Yan in that order, maybe. Flip Højgaard and Seabez, actually. That would probably be my preference. At the bottom of the 7Ks, again, I'm not going to list the 6Ks, but Mark, is there anyone in this range that you are going to be playing this week?
Definitely friend of the show, Sam Stevens, again. I do like him. Another one is very long off the tee, etc. It's really a short game, which is letting him down. But yeah, for that sort of price, I'm willing to take that chance.
Nice. Jack?
Adam Svensson has made 8 of 9 cuts this year. Very strong approach play from him. He played this last year, finished tied 45th. I like him this week. I like Aaron Rye at 6,500. I think that's a bit too cheap for Aaron Rye, to be fair.
Yeah, that's my guy in this range, I think.
Another one with the good bounce back last week. Missed the cut, obviously, at PGA. Finished tied 12th at the Charles Schwab. Sorry, I don't think he played the PGA. He finished tied 12th at Charles Schwab, and then but before that he'd missed 3 straight cuts. But again, if you look at them closely, they were pretty much on the number. There wasn't a great deal wrong with it. Good debut here as well last year. Finished tied 26th. And then I'm quite happy to go back to Ches Reavie down there at 6,200. Again, didn't let us down last week. Already has a sixth place finish this year at the Valero. He played this course in 2020 and he finished tied 22nd in 2020. So yeah, a few guys I like. Again, read the newsletter. A few of them are in the newsletter there, and there's a few more as well.
Yeah, Aaron Rye was one of the names I'd written down, and Mark Hubbard was the other name that I'd written down in this range. He's losing strokes off the tee, not massively, but his tee to greens strokes gains quite high, which just obviously suggests that the rest of his game is pretty good, but off the tee maybe not so much. Obviously, it's a lottery down here, but yeah, some of those names we mentioned. Who I've got on my radar as well, especially Two Glove. I guess we better.
He did do well last week.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, let's get onto the lineups then. So, is it possible for us to put together a Scheffler and a Rahm lineup? It is.
I've not tried this yet. Yeah,
we've got to come down, guys.
You're going to need Ches Reavie, aren't you?
Well, you could stick Ryan. Stick Aaron Wright.
Aaron Wright.
Yeah, then I think you're going to need Ches. If you play two at the 6K range, yeah, if you get Ches, then you get back up to 7,500.
Ches Reavie, 7.5, which Seabez at 7.2 takes us back to 7.8. There wasn't a great deal at the top of the range that we liked here, so I guess we either come down or.
I'll tell you what I would do here. Stick Adam Scott in at 8,000. And then it brings you right down to 7,000. Stick Jaeger bombs in.
Yeah.
Because then that way you get off that chalky area in the 7.5 range. I like that quite a bit actually.
It's not bad for the two most expensive golfers in the field being in your lineup.
Yeah, I mean, and at that 7K range, you could still play Højgaard, who we mentioned, if you didn't want to play Jaeger anyway. So
yeah.
And up at the 8K range, you could play Siwoo or Tom Kim if you wanted to.
Yeah, don't mind that. Let's have a little look then. If we were to, we all like Tyrrell Hatton, so I'm going to just put Tyrrell Hatton into the lineup.
Cantlay?
And let's put in Cantlay, who's likely to be the other highly owned from that top of the range. So, I'm inclined to just come.
I was going to say, do you want to stick your boy Hubbard in at 6.5?
Yeah, I'll throw him in because I'm inclined to just go straight down here into the bargain basement, and then we can start making our way back up again. Yeah. 8Ks. I wasn't a massive fan of it, but throwing Fowler, I don't mind that. 7.6. I guess we're in a similar kind of territory to what we were before. We could probably throw in someone like an Adam Scott and still get down to the kind of low sevens range there. Seabez goes into that lineup nicely.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, yeah.
Something like that. So I don't think that you're not necessarily dipping below that, because above Adam Scott, I mean, you could maybe go. I mean, there's a combination there. I guess if you didn't want to go Adam Scott, you could go Lowry and drop Seabez to Jaeger or Højgaard again, something like that. But quite like that lineup. That's quite nicely balanced.
Yep. Should do one more?
I don't.
Do one. Oh, go on.
Oh no, go on. Still got it. Go on then.
I was going to say, do you want to do one quickly in the 8K range? Just I don't know.
So, what we say? Cameron Young.
Hideki.
Fowler.
Tom Kim.
Larry and Scott, they will just fit perfectly.
Yeah. Well, actually, no,
Larry.
it won't, will it? No.
Oh no, it's perfect.
Oh yeah, it will. Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, I don't. That's a good balance build. That, to be fair.
You could have
Balance build
six.
got it
You
done
could
here
have
last
six
year.
through the line there, and all 6 quite clearly could be top 20. That's not bad. That's not bad.
I think Hideki's the scary one in that one, but we'll see.
Yeah, you could be right. Hideki, maybe even Lowry. It depends which Shane Lowry you're getting. Nicely done, fellas. 3 different lineups there: top heavy, balanced, and complete fade of the field of anyone that isn't 8K or Tom Kim. So nice, I like that. 3 good lineups. As always, been a blast. Where can the listeners find you, Jack?
On the Twitter at Jack Humphrey DFS. Newsletter's already out. So yeah, just head on over to the PFD show Twitter handle and get access to it through there, and make sure you sign up to it.
Absolutely. Mark, yourself?
Matt_SMRF.
And you can find me at Nick of Wigan. We will hopefully be back again on Tuesday of next week. Apologies that it is a day late. That is my fault. It's not going to be anyone else's fault. It is always my fault when the show delays, so I do apologise for that. But yeah, good luck, everyone. And we will see you next Tuesday.